Okay, so we all know, sir, the elections are MPP for Koto, yeah. On the 31st of January 2026, no, Nipa Odin Kunim Dr. Bawumia. Now, there are a whole lot of issues are so and as aftermath of this election, we know. In fact, now there's one notable thing so I mean, everyone is really talking about. Now, even though establishment, almost say establishment candidate, but even though Dr. Bawumia we win, you know, still now. There are people within the New Patriotic Party and even outward unbelieving say Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia can win an internal MPP primary, but he can never ever win the general elections. And one person and a group of people are almost so they are fueling this kind of argument. It's basically people within the Christian Council fraternity. Now, during the day there was a video which came out which was a bit explosive. Ninyane said woman be a friend of Victoria Duncan Williams. Now the name should be familiar because she is a sister of Archbishop Duncan Williams. Or the same to just say elections here MPP for equal 2 years and another omotro. Even though Dr. Bawumia he may come out victorious, no. Yet no air kwa abontia kwa kotona still na for the party itself idea embwa. Now these particular ways and now when some you mean it has sparked a lot of conversation and people are saying say the preferred candidates anka sebio anka also winning that particular day no Kennedy Agyapong. But before I bet so no yenko tie nsema Victoria Duncan Williams or the Tudra babaka. We will continue with this particular update because even though Dr. Bawumia has really won the election, still there are people within the MPP who believe say no. We now we no say you ain't mean correlate onto a general elections. Yenko tie Victoria Duncan Williams and some are or the two. When we come back, we will definitely dive more into all of these issues I see for Ekoso.
What am I going to say? It's not going very well for him, but I'm really, really surprised at the delegates again. I told them last time, I said, you bring Bawumia, you go to opposition. You are bringing back Bawumia. Let me tell you, and I'm saying it with authority, Bawumia will never, ever be president in Ghana here. Never. He came to destroy the MPP, just like his father destroyed UP. He has destroyed MPP, and that's the end. I'm telling you.
What's the basis for saying he won't be president of Ghana?
I am telling you. Do you want me to tell you something?
Tell me.
We are 75% of Christians. Muslims are 14%. The other religion is the other 11%. So let me tell you something. When you go with the other, the other religion, when they talk or say, so from there, they join the Christians. So I'll tell you something. Christian right now is what, 11? Or maybe I'll just cut it 6, but 75, which is 81. There's no way anywhere in this world that majority will let a minority lead. And if you let a minority, I'll give you an example. Just go to the parliament. Is it possible that the majority there will let a minority lead them? It's a question. It's a simple question.
Is it about religion based?
But let me tell you, everywhere in this world, everywhere, you cannot go to a Muslim land and you Christian tell them you want to lead them. They will cut off your tongue. You see, that's what they don't understand. We don't have a problem with any Muslim. We don't. But they won't. I'm telling you.
So now, is your camp going to support Bawumia going into the future?
Of course. Election? But we will never win.
You are supporting him, but you know win.
Well, of course. We know. And I tell you, the big people, the people, hey, they know that Bawumia will never win.
What is informing your conviction Bawumia will never win?
That Bawumia will win Ghana. Did you just hear my explanation right now?
I got you on the balance of religion and belief. But
and I'm telling you, there's nowhere in this world that majority will let minority lead them.
There was
And
once
again,
in the parliament of this country where the majority had to concede somehow for minority. Alban Bagbin came from the minority.
that's a different thing. But that's the parliament. That's not the whole Ghana. That's not, listen.
The 275 in parliament represents the whole Ghana.
Let me tell you. You don't know what I'm telling you. This is the truth I'm telling you. And the truth is only one. They would never, ever. Never. And I'm telling you, and I'm telling you with authority. Bawumia will never be president in Ghana. Never.
Even though he's clearly...
I am telling you, he has no message. The man has no message. You telling me you're going to build a toilet at Agyapong? You couldn't even do it. You couldn't even do it. What can you do? You had 8 years to do something for the North. You couldn't do it. You couldn't even build the toilets. The toilet is for assemblymen. Okay? Bawumia said he brought the drones. He never brought the drones. He's a digital. He never did that. Everything Bawumia said he brought, he never did. He came and met the Ghana card. The Ghana card was brought for Kufuor, because I know some people that had the Ghana card 2007. Okay? Digital. He did not bring digital. What are you people talking about? He has no message. You bring Bawumia, listen, Bawumia is taking NPP down. Just like his father took UP down. Have you heard Bawumia talking about his father before? Okay, my father is Duncan Williams. Okay, and it's not the Archbishop. So I can talk about my father. And I know what my father did with Kwame Nkrumah for Ghana here. But he cannot.
Is this your...
Mind you, video now share a Victoria Duncan Williams. Okay, you saw say at the end part of the video. Okay, say my father is Duncan Williams. Intininia Bema and a bishop a Duncan Williams. So parts now and some more cannot say about me bebre. But then there's also a second part to this video, and she was still saying, said to her, even though she's an NPP person, yeah, they know only message about me deba. What I say, Bawumia has no message. Bawumia did nothing, and Opa said Bawumia yet never say Omegu MPP. Obegu MPP so indeed or sounds a candidate to us.
I'm telling you, this is the truth I'm telling you. And the truth is only one. They would never, ever. Never. And I'm telling you, and I'm telling you with authority. Bawumia will never be president in Ghana. Never.
Even though he's clearly...
I am telling you, he has no message. The man has no message. You telling me you're going to build a toilet at Agyapong? You couldn't even do it. You couldn't even do it. What can you do? You had 8 years to do something for the North. You couldn't do it. You couldn't even build the toilets. The toilet is for assemblymen. Okay? Bawumia said he brought the drones. He never brought the drones. He's a digital. He never did that. Everything Bawumia said he brought, he never did. He came and met the Ghana card. The Ghana card was brought for Kufuor, because I know some people that had the Ghana card 2007. Okay? Digital. He did not bring digital. What are you people talking about? He has no message. You bring Bawumia, listen, Bawumia is taking NPP down. Just like his father took UP down. Have you heard Bawumia talking about his father before? Okay, my father is Duncan Williams. Okay, and it's not the Archbishop. So I can talk about my father. And I know what my father did with Kwame.
Okay, so that is the sentiment Victoria Duncan Williams or Patches. Ghana is predominantly a Christian nation. 75% of the people here are Christians. It's in our party, how is it that we are going to elect someone who doesn't share in the majority of our faith? Now, let us go back and also use an analytics or use say yen fast okay, yen ko Saudi Arabia. Now Saudi Arabia is basically 90% or 99% Muslims. Can the 1% or Christians or hono can they rule Saudi Arabia? It won't be possible. Which is true. But then you see Saudi Arabia and Ghana. But then it be more patch say if we are really going by the books, what Victoria Air can air no correct. Now Ebi muso beka say if Victoria is someone can no cra, which means Ghana may never ever see a president as a Muslim. That is the issue. Or can also one kasa kotuma Bawumia or supported Bawumia. But the thing is Bawumia on your candidate or your marketable, you bit my market ama sebu Ghana phone. So that is the issue. Air koso. I may know can say, there is indeed a big growing divide. Honestly, I don't know how this whole issue will end, and I don't know the tactics as you see about Bawumia obeying here because Kamia Quest is still now part of the country, and Christians bimo believe say Bawumia and you be as said you bit my baby lead or more. Why? Because Bawumia a Muslim. Well, on my channel will also like to get your views based on all of this particular issue. So what do you think about issue so in terms of a year? In Sema, Madam Victoria, or the Ababe Tuja said, it is never possible, say Ghana, Yebefa Bawumia as our president. Why? Because he basically doesn't share in our faith. So that is issue. And I said, in Sema, ultimately, you need indemnity. Whatever happens, we'll make sure say more updates as all of these various events continue to unfold right here in this particular country, Ghana. Therefore, twice only called the camp of Kennedy Akompre Agyapong. And let's be honest, it's not a good week for Kennedy Agyapong at all. Why? Because Kennedy Agyapong lose elections no portal. And from the look of things, after elections, we ubia and idea ubia ebo Brian Agyapong. Why? Because he came so close to Kennedy Agyapong. Ken had 22 or 23%. Brian Agyapong had almost 19%. So on Agyapong, they were just basically fighting for the second position, whilst Bawumia was basically far gone. Now, when Katie Hammond, who was regarded as Agyapong's best friend, his classmate, and all of that, people are saying, say, I didn't know Katie Hammond, or Agyapong, the best friend. All of a sudden, one supporting Agyapong, Odi Bawumia, at the point in time, he was seen even throwing jabs at Kennedy Agyapong, saying, say, Ken, Sebio, or Nyobia, bit me leading the country and all of that. And Katie Hammond say, the issue of Kennedy Agyapong stemmed from some place because at the point in time, Ken called him overnight. And I can catch and say, Massa, me, my quarter say, I see Muslim need to me your president. And Katie Hammond says, I said, no, can a big campaign. Why? Because say Christian need Muslim need to me a year. One kasankasa na wo kan sa asem no asese bi wo ton ho. So don't go and say that particular men ko kan sense me, but ultimately no MSS ansem na ken ne kan no try so be ka check ken se man ko kan no ken ekwa abonti ko kan e na echi Katie Hammond no so a Muslim, he felt hurt. Now we have a sound bite of what Katie Hammond himself said and how to him the once a year brotherhood relationship that he had with Kennedy Agyapong in his words is irreversibly broken, which means atia pansama oya ne hwiaye de enye yenko tie Katie Hammond how he even narrated this in the first place. Honestly, it's so sad to hear all of these things actually play out in the first place. Katie Hammond edituja ya babaka. We will continue with this particular
relationship with Kennedy Agyapong is no food relationship. We go deep down. The reason why he has adopted me as his brother, relationship with Kennedy Agyapong is no food relationship. We go deep down. The reason why he has adopted me as his brother is because of the extraordinary amount of help that I have bestowed on him, which I am not going to give details of. Now, one afternoon, I mean, you don't want to know this story. Well, sometimes Ken just tells me when he hasn't seen me for some time, he just cries out. Now, so what my few say, are they? Oh, you're bad now, my few say, and I said, my girlfriend, where are you? Now, then I explain where I am, and then we'll meet and we'll have our discussions. On this particular day, sometime in August, I was sitting right at my desk in my office when Ken calls me. Where are you? I said in my office. So I replicate this and explain that where have you been? I'm also looking for you for 3 days. I haven't found you. He said to me, he went to somewhere in the Volta region. He's on his way and he's whatever. Okay. So he makes a complaint about Amprekum, the MP from Agyapong, who has been my twin brother in our London days up to from the early 80s up to now. Complained about him about something that had happened in Agyapong. That didn't seem to be true. That matter had gone viral. It is this so-called Eduwa he said, which ended up in all the name callings that he kept, he piled on Dr. Bawumia. That Apirkum had said this and that. I told him, no, that matter is gone viral. You spoke to some people, you were in black, it's gone viral. We'd all watched it. So it couldn't have been Apirkum. In any event, I would talk this matter over with Apirkum. And then you listen to this and carefully. You guys who are interested in my relationships and why it's broken down for me irretrievably. Listen to this. I had been given some information relating to Ken himself. I thought it was important that I mention it to him. So I said to Ken that actually I've also been looking for you because there's this matter I want to bring to your attention. God is my witness. This is all I said. Ken insulted me as if he had gone mad, as if he had gone bonkers. He said whatever he wanted to say to me, and I'm telling you, the wife that I mentioned was crying in the car. They were shouting at him, Ken, this is Auntie Katie you are talking to. What is the matter? He called you, I'm sorry, you called him and then explained something to him. He said he wanted to explain something to you. He hasn't even spoken, you are insulting him. What has he done to you? This is your brother. What has he done to you? It went on and on. Chrissy was crying, I was crying. I mean, what could I have done to Ken for him to do this sort of thing today? He is the person I would just simply relate to. Whatever the issue, I go to Ken and it is sorted out. They tell me I went to his house at 5 o'clock in the morning. I go to Ken's house anytime I have to go if there's an issue. Cabinet, if there's any issue with Ken and is creating problems for everybody in Ghana, I am the person to go to Ken. I didn't deserve what he did to me. You know what someone said? One of the people in his campaign that day who was in his car called out separately and said to me, you do not know me. My name is this and that. I would spare the person's blushes. I wouldn't mention his name. We don't know what is it, but we suspect that somebody must have sent your brother somewhere. His mind is going the way that nobody expected. That was it. And so we agreed. The wife, people around who are still talking to me, that I would be all right. But he had been going on about this Muslim thing. In private, he had told me that if you were Muslim, you cannot be a president in Ghana. I told him he was talking nonsense. Keep this between the two of us. You go out and you talk nonsense like that, there will be a problem. Do you know I'm a Muslim? Do you people know I'm a Muslim? I go and follow Ken for him to spread the message that as a Muslim, you can't be president. You think I'm mad? Apart from his money, what has distinguished me from Agyapong? If he could be president, you think I can be president? Tell me, I can be president, Ken can be president. And you expect me to go and follow him and send a campaign to Muslims that we Muslims, we cannot be president. Is that what you are expecting me to do? And then he goes.
Therefore, a same bebre. Now, Ketiamon kasa bebre, but then Ochechen same bebre. But far from that, Kamiako said all the people around Agyapong, including the woman he slept with, and even had babies out of its crown, Omokra, Agyapong, the back question. And then Kamiako said, for once, the new patriotic party, they've had enough of Agyapong. Why? Because elections here, clearly to say Agyapong. Basically, he's the man who lost because he got 38% the last time, and then when you're 22%, which means a message, or demeanor, or attitude, the base party base are not morally to for you, Sisiano, as a Sisiano, mapa. Regardless, there are ways I can rejuvenate all of these things back. But I told you, say. Nipa bakwa sebi onena wo ono so aba out aba bekasa. Now they are Ketiamon making this particular issue statement and chebia and a nipa onene one ba adrasafo ye bisa no ebro no so koto aba bisa say Ken Agyapong kasa woni ni issue no anything it for reply woman yima ye no tim say Ken has now lost everyone.
Dr. Bawumia chisa sama kind na ye de wo dwen wo position obenyanti e na o kan sa
I'm kind of thing.
Ukoka se eye ode oni Kennedy yeah, my woman tem any assetna and a woman says so you omo de mano, no change be quite appointment, and yeah, they of the man or that thing, our Dr. Bawumia into that channel appointment in tea and no dinner.
So you ma we what you say be abegina be abegina. So we are Juma say who be yire won na wako ani manamboa. It was in a context. I was addressing na me manfo a e wodo me kwa benya ene kasa. Me manfo susu se maso. Me manfo susu se me asadwo asafo ma ye adwumaden. Inti obia no wo ye amanyosem a wugi tumu se baabia wo aboa bia ye den. Didi ko baby a no bedroom obenyansa for yebu ne be yenkana se ni a wose won ti ase na wose no de odu politics mu class 1 o pese ogina saa no de kwa wiye me adwa safo mi nyina class 1 and I said again say family and friends yen ene edi yenya no enu krenti e wose me so me dwin na me de ko baby a ebeboa na aboa me da say.
Okay, so that was Sarah Agyapong in Sema Oditujwa. Now, you see, Musa Dankwa, who was the person who rightfully predicted amongst all other polls and all other prophets and all Mukasa Ken be Musa Dankwa ya eka say Ken was actually doing well. Ken's numbers were up somewhere in the 30s, 32, 33. He was struggling, but he was doing well. But then the issue here is last days of the campaign, and Newton and Penny said last days are dangerous. Last days of the campaign, Agyapong Ken Simbi. Now that 30 seconds thing I can and no energy, all the hard work and the momentum Ken has built for all of these years, any dreaming in a bar form. What exactly caused this? Now remember, I said software no, the software now software no can't say Agyapong baby or no so now sorry no. Menu can say you 2 months. We will give you an update on that. But you could see exactly what Ken said, and according to Musa Dankwa, this was the tipping point. And the breaking point Ken the campaign edrigu ya or can't sense him we also say no Ken is actually headed for destruction.
I've never seen a liar like our former flag bearer on air. He's a liar. Said Edubuahin one contested because not Oyan. This man is a liar. Today I tell you he's a liar. You shouldn't vote for a liar. A man who is lying to have power. Wow. Won't hear the history. Edubuahin, occurred 1992. And we winning. And occurred general election. And we lose. 1996. The former black flag bearer, Ejine Kumasi, Kasena Edubuahin Yare. Kufuor contested Edubuahin in 1996. And Kufuor BT Edubuahin. A flag bearer. He was fighting to go on the post, and they did not agree. And we contested. I will pay power. Obi abedi o mining now to be detro a distorted history. Say, Mesra Mamon to Abama. Bawumia. Obi amanini kine so a liar. More than a bar, we're a liar, and the people are not going to vote for him. He's not a trustworthy person. When I heard him yesterday saying that, I said, what? A presidential candidate who wants people to vote for him will look eyeball to eyeball and lie. He's a big liar. Men are catching up on it. We're a liar. So to me, General said, "Na Edubuahin yare." Wow. Timesram Edubuahin was contested by Kufuor, and Kufuor BT, you know. And the Bayer, Monko checking history. In the Mamma Omu to 2 million second chance. Many are told me, I am more popular than him in this country. I'm telling you today, me am more popular than him. Who knows him? The only people, those who know him as a liar. And he continues to lie. That is why we lost. One to me economy who wants them be a digital. Am I lose you? And you people that I'm talking to know why.
So according to Musa Dankwa, this single video I share, that was everything that destroyed Agyapong's chances of ever getting near the presidency. Numbers are time or enjoy 30 something. Yeah, they didn't say a better no. This statement brought everything down. And honestly, it reflected because Agyapong got 22 or 23%, which means now 37% or so nyayen eswati by almost 12% or more, which is not good business. Now, it's therefore Papaya and the picture either screens. He is the person who went around the country on every radio station telling every person say Ken was going to win. At a point in time, and I Ken the numbers enye, the message na enye, the way I know here the name na enye. This man was constantly telling us say, "Ono no catch a Ghana for say Mahama be president, Mahama ye president." On once no catch us say anya me krona asom no da say Agyapong be president, Agyapong be president so. And unfortunately, that day now, elections no cause so no enumerate results ni by Ken anya dia Brian Champion cry ABTK no. It's here for papa one change 2 minutes po and the apology letter by because a man for an hour now sorry no be say omo ye the omo ko. Now or the apology letter be brave by Emma soft phobinum to say Kofi Oduro nyaba be kasa. But then he himself came out to speak. He came out to speak. Otre say the next day, which was Saturday on the apology letter, and by Sunday, no oba out ebe kasaye. In fact, at the point in time, even told members say, "I sorry, baby, you don't pursue film because in TV video."
Apology. Number 2 is the statement of accountability. I have released this statement for now. And I need you to look at the words I'm using. I've released these 2 statements for now. And because I hold myself accountable, everything I wanted to tell you is in that statement. I can't determine and influence how you respond and how you react. But I just want you to understand that I am still here. I am not going to ask you to stay here. Neither am I asking you to leave. But in the spirit of humility and accountability, I have told you what I would do for now. I will be back. And there are so many things to say. But at the right time, I will say what must be said. I just needed to look at all that I have said. I've released 2 statements for now. So this morning, I'm not going to preach the word of God to you. And for several weeks, I will not be preaching, even though I'll be in service. I've taught you over the years that no matter whatever happens to you, there are 2 important things you don't have to lose. Number 1, never lose God. You believe in the Lord Jesus Christ. You believe in what He can do. And number 2, never lose yourself. Because if you lose yourself, there will not be you. My name is Bernard L. Bernard Nelson Nishan. And I want to say thank you. I want to say thank you. With a standing ovation and a mighty clap offering.
Okay, so that was Bishop L. Bernard, the pastor of Kennedy Agyapong, or Casa Kennedy president. Remember, this man went to almost every TV station here in the country since Nyankopon Yachen. At a particular point in time, the polls and other people were saying, say, Bishop L. Bernard, Ken is not winning the flag bearer race. Now, the members, in some way, you see our patch, I see all the about to just say, sorry, no crown, preach for some time. Or some so catch members, this up a qua, on one country, say, on also can't stay. You can make a decision on your own. But the issue here is, the question is, well, where is Ken? And when you said the Kennedy Agyapong group and a Kennedy Agyapong team, no, almost storming our story. Hey, I did fair off. You can share the video of the moment Kennedy Agyapong, the team members almost storming Bishop L. Bernard, na sorry ho. Omuko peden, could you musika na say, Omuko jinchiremu. You share video about back a bit to us.
Hallelujah. Hallelujah. Thank you very much, church, and thank you, Prophet, for the opportunity to once again be here. If you recall, we were here a couple of months ago to request for prayer ahead of the 2026 presidential primaries, which our candidate, Kennedy Agyapong, contested. And indeed, prayers were offered, prophecies were given, which, of course, as believers, we do align. We went for the election. Unfortunately, the results was not as we expected. But as believers, we align with the words of Romans 8:28, which reads that, and we know that all things work together for good to them that love God and to them who are called according to his purpose. Again, we also align with the word of God in 1 Thessalonians 5:18, which reads that in every situation, give thanks to God. For this is the will of God in Christ Jesus concerning you. And so whether good or bad, we still give thanks to God. I am sure if it went well, we would have still come here to give thanks to God. And so even when our expectations were not met, we still believe that it's still part of God's grand scheme for the team, for Kennedy Agyapong, and for all lovers. Yesterday, Ken himself reached out to Prophet, at least to say hi to him, encourage him, and console all of us. Today, we are also here once again to give thanks to the Lord. But this defeat has taught us a lesson. Most importantly, it's taught us a lesson in faith. And our understanding of faith has now been a bit redefined, but it's not shaking. Our understanding of faith is that faith for us as a team is a walk with God and not a transaction with God. And I repeat, faith for us, the team Ken, our understanding is that it's a walk with God. And not a transaction with God. You know, as believers, when you have a transaction with God, you expect that once God says this, and you also say that it must happen. Like you enter a grocery shop, the expectation is that so far as you have your money, you should be able to pick the list of items that you have written. But that's not faith. Our understanding of faith is that you have a strong belief in the character and personality of God, that God will perform. That even if he fails to perform, it's still part of his great and grand scheme for your good. That is our understanding of it. And so even as we went to the pool and lost, we still believe that it's still part of God's grand scheme for our life and for his greater purpose. And of course, we also align with a similar biblical happened in the history of, the Christian faith. If you recall the case of Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, they were very confident that their God will come through for them when they were resolute that they were not going to bow to the lesser God. They say that their God will come through for them and rescue them. But they made a point that was also very profound. They say that even if God does not come through, they will still not bow down to that lesser God. And so for us, Prophet Bernard had prophesied. Our expectation was that it was going to come to pass or be fulfilled. Even if it still did not come to pass, we still believe that that is still part of the grand scheme for God for our lives. We are still with him. We still stand by him. I am not sure his season should be defined by a moment. We always stand by him, and ultimately, we know at the right time, God will still redeem himself. So to the church and to Prof. Bernard, get a chill cook. Those watching online, don't be shaking. Get a chill cook and relax and wait for the goodness of the Lord. Thank you. God bless you all.
Okay, so that was the moment the team of Agyapong stormed the premises of this particular man, your friend Bishop L. Bernard. Apparently, people were actually coming at him hard. Say, the big question is what really happened at the end of the course. So now, in this same regard, one person as here and here, the poster boy in all of this, Brian Agyapong. Now you see him in the shots here with Agyapong during the night, and now all the flag bearers, the hopefuls, gather here to actually give honor to Bawumia for winning decisively. Now, the big gains of Brian Agyapong, everyone is talking about it, and by now you may have heard say there's even word on the ground say make it Bawumia, make it Brian Agyapong the running mate because his numbers was impressive. What can I say? Now, Menuka saying Brian Agyapong is really playing a certain game, and I think I understand part of the game he's playing, but then he's doing something which is very, very shocking. Before then, the moment at Brian Agyapong ankasa after the election results, he announced say no be decayed and I'm your third person. He took the phone to call Kennedy Agyapong. Explain certain things to you.
I just called to congratulate you for very good elections. Why are there? Why?
You have done very well. You have done very well.
I think this is a God factor. So let's keep it like that. Obeba head office.
Yeah.
Okay, intimation or now, then we close up nicely. Why?
Okay.
But big brother, congratulations. Democracy has won. Internal elections have won. All right then. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Doc, congrats to you.
Thank you very much. 1957.
Is that what you were expecting to get? Or you were expecting something better?
I'm looking at what I got. I was expecting Bawumia's vote in my box. It didn't happen, but that's life. Everything that we have done has deepened democracy in Ghana, in the world. We've contributed to humanity. We got the God factor, getting me almost 35,000 votes, in 4 months. So we're very, very happy with the results that we got. We had hoped that we would get more than 50%. We didn't, and like I said, somebody got it. We go cheer him up, and we move on with our lives.
Dr. Brown, what's next for you?
Life.
Love?
Life is next.
Oh, life, okay.
Yes, life is next. We have to press on. We are all, just like you are doing, contributing to democracy, the development of our country by doing a good job, being a blogger, pushing our content and all that. You are all adding something to our society. So am I. This is what I do, politics. This part is over. We wait for what's next. And you talk to God, you talk to family, you talk to friends, and then you press on with life. That's how these things work.
I've heard some of your people saying agenda, Brian for running mates. Is this something you're going to support?
No, those conversations, we shouldn't be having them at this time, somebody has won elections. I have lost an elections. The results are yet to be announced, and then we are talking about other things that I know nothing about. So let's take it one minute at a time.
No, thank you.
Very well.
Okay, so at the end, you heard say a year 1957 was asking Brian Agyapong, so there's an argument saying you're the running mate. Well, Matthew be say or say on your running mate because on person record a bit tied to Bawumia. We'll come back to that. But then this same Brian Agyapong actually met his team members. And then the people behind this, friends, impressive performance. 4 months, they were almost able to tie Agyapong at the second place. No, he actually thanked them. Now, Babaka, one person also about Kasa also visited Brian Agyapong in office, and he first of all had a first-hand info said Brian may pull up a surprise. But before then, let's just have a look at this particular video when Brian Agyapong was talking to his team members.
The winner. And I think we have to go cheer him up.
Yep.
That's how this game is played. One day,
Somebody will cheer you.
today somebody has won. You cheer him up. One day you will win. Everybody else will cheer you up. That's the name of the game. But it has to be done with a clean heart.
Yes.
Nobody should harbor anything, any bad ideas and things like that. So it's unacceptable. Just open heart, clean hands. Let's get this business of politics going. We are advancing the cause of humanity. Don't forget that. We are deepening democracy. And what is great is that you were a part of it. All what we are doing, we are adding to democracy. We are adding to the story of our country. We are adding to our own personal life achievements. Before these results and these elections, a lot of things that you had not experienced before. So that's just how life works.
Okay. Now, apart from this particular statement, Brian Agyapong and Mickey, one other thing too was how impressive his performance was. Now, Paul Adomoche is telling us he actually saw something when he visited Brian Agyapong up at the Bree Mountains. Saying that he himself is not really surprised at all.
I'm not surprised at all about Brian Agyapong. I'm not, because I followed his campaign. I traveled to Agyapong to sit with him on a Sunday. He asked me to come and sit, and on that Sunday I was there for about 6 hours. I saw him talking to delegates. In each session he spoke to about 1,000 delegates. Buses bring them from far away. They come into the hotel. He addresses them. They go. Another group comes. They go. Another group comes. And when he is done, he is now setting off. And he explained to me that he's doing this across the country. So I've always said that, we have to wait to see the results, because Brian has done the work. He has pressed flesh. He has done the density of the campaigns everywhere. If that doesn't matter, then we'll know how the delegates are thinking. If, however, that matters, it also indicates how the delegates are thinking. I'm not surprised at all about the showing he's making. What is surprising, though, is that it was always said that if Brian were to make 14 to 15% of the vote, which is, I think, where he's getting, then the election will go into a second round. That's what we were told. I've looked at the figures in Central Region, and I'm beginning to think that it was there that Dr. Bawumia was able to pull the first round victory. It was in Central Region, and I'm doing a comparative analysis with 2023 when they met. So you will see that Central Region sort of went for Bawumia, and they decided that, well, Ken is their man. They voted for him all the time, but some places changed. The Northern Region has been very stable, and the other impressive factor was that in Ashanti Region, Dr. Bawumia was winning almost everywhere. And I'm waiting for the Ashanti figures. It was 66 the last time. My people in Ashanti, in particular, Andy Usu, tells me that it may be 70%, and we're waiting to see how that goes. So if Bawumia is winning 70% of the home region of the NPP, that's not too bad. Even if he doesn't get the 60% he got the last time, and he's getting 57 or 58, which is where it looks like we are ending to say praises to Musa Dankwa, who predicted it. we will still be excited that Dr. Bawumia was able to increase his turnout in the home region of the party. That is where you need to mobilize the people. That is why they didn't turn up to vote. They didn't come. So if in that context, within the Ashanti region context, he's increasing his votes, I think that is very, very applaudable, and the MPP should be excited about that. Eastern region also comes. Brian again, he was expected to do very well in Eastern region, but he was expected to, in Eastern region, take away from Bawumia significantly. Brian showed up, but Bawumia also really showed up. Volta region is another place that Kennedy Agyapong was expected to do well, widely. It didn't come as big. Oti region, Muhammadu Bawumia was expected to win, he won. The 5 northern regions expected to win, he won.
Okay, so that was the issue of Brian Agyapong. I mean, say, he is the person that everyone is indeed talking about. His impressive performance is something to write home about, and ultimately, everyone is really talking about it. I just say, honestly, as you heard him, question and report and Ibisano in the first round. Now, see, we are hearing, and there's also an argument out there. So they should make you a running mate. And I said that conversation, the time is not now, and even the situation, the circumstances, right, doesn't favor it right now. So we live to see. I mean, a lot of things at the end of the day, obia, I just say obia, can't drink, and as obia, but then clearly, Brian Agyapong, the 50 years, he has a long way to go, and at the end of the day, this is actually going to go a long way to help him. And for me, also be the comments be about say Bishop L. Bernard, he should not apologize because Yankopon and I can't say my channel. And let me take this comment. I'll say L. Bernard with John Otabel Bilson. I'll say so if John Abi Bilson, forgive me if I don't get the name. I'll say L. Bernard, don't understand why you did to apologize. I don't understand what you did to apologize. Look, you spoke the mind of God just as the Israelites rejected God leadership for a man. The same vein, they have rejected what God has given. So this the comments are Eba, but then many people across the country, including Kofi Odro, Omababe Kasa, say it's high time these so-called men of God, they cease to associate themselves with people in politics. In fact, Kofi Odro sounded a very stern one in just an Enyansem. Because I video Papaka, we follow up with what Kofi Odro, more of Kofi Odro in Sama Obabe Fire a Bishop.
All of us, come on. All of us. Let's stop this nonsense of helping these politicians. We have a gospel to preach. We have souls to win. Let's not use the pulpit for political nonsense. We have a gospel to preach. We have souls to win. We have a Christ to glorify. Most of these politicians are very disrespectful to God, very promiscuous, very adulterous, and most of them don't care about even God. Why do we have to care about them and make so much attention? As if if we don't talk about them, we have a whole Bible here to preach. Open the word, preach the word, open the word, preach the word, preach the word, preach the word. Leave these uncircumcised people. Preach the word. The pulpit is not for political nonsense. Preach the word. I stand here, ladies and gentlemen. Come here. I want to ask Ghanaians, pay attention. Prophet L. Bernard, I know him personally. I can stand here and say El Bernard is the prophet of God. I don't care what you think. El Bernard have been here. I know him. I know his wife Mimi. They are close to my heart. I find something about the Christians. When people go to war as soldiers and they are wounded, the fellow soldier
soldiers will carry the wounded soldier from battlefield. And even when bullets are flying, we want to take the wounded soldier back to barracks or base. It is only the Christians who will kill a wounded soldier. It is only the Christians. They will kill you with their mouth because you made one mistake. When he prophesied about Gamanche, when he was not a Gamanche, Your Majesty, good morning to you. It is just for example purposes. Nobody spoke about it. He picked Gamanche in Kumasi at Family Chapel when he was an ordinary citizen and said, in 2 years I see you becoming. He spoke the mind of God. It came to pass. He spoke concerning President Mahama. It came to pass. And I know he spoke concerning the Empriso MP. There is an MP, young lady in parliament right now. I know the lady. Sunyane West MP. Sunyane West. I was there when God spoke concerning that lady. You will be an MP. First attempt, she won. So then, I want to ask Ghanaians, please forgive Bernard L. Bernard. We don't always get it right because we are men. And I think that it's time we let you know that we are not demigods, we are not supermen, we are men of God. We have made the error of projecting ourselves beyond our capacity. But if God is able to do something with us, we should be like Paul that says that we are unprofitable men. We have only done what we were assigned to do, and God alone be the glory. To God alone. So I stand here. We will not castigate. We will not malign. We are going to ask Ghanaians to forgive him, and we are asking the church to pray for him. He is one of us. We cannot desert him. You touch one, you touch all. We are wounded. We are all wounded because what he went through, I can go through. I can prophesy in the prophecy that because I'm still about, the Bible said we see in part and prophesy in part. That means that we don't see everything, we don't know everything, and we cannot do everything. It is just by the grace of God. I love it. I love it. In 2 Samuel chapter 1 and verse number 20, when King Saul died and they brought news to David, he said, tell it not in Gath, publish it not in the streets of Ashkelon, lest the daughters of the Philistines rejoice, lest the daughters of the uncircumcised triumph. Go to verse 19. He said in verse number 19, the beauty of Israel is slain upon the high places. How the mighty has fallen. And then in verse 20, when he saw that the mighty has fallen, he said, don't speak it in God, don't publish it. Nobody should talk about it. Nobody should make it known. Nobody should share it, because if you do, people will castigate the name of God. From tomorrow, I know that the uncircumcised citizenry will talk nonsense against the church of God. But I can tell you, we are buttressed on every side. We are wounded, but not in despair. We are hurt, but we shall come back again. This is why we don't get help when we need it. All of us, come on, all of us, let's stop this nonsense of, helping these politicians. We have a gospel to preach. We have souls to win. Let's not use the pulpit for political nonsense. We have a gospel to preach. We have souls to win. We have a Christ to glorify. Most of these politicians are very disrespectful to God, very promiscuous, very adulterous, and most of them don't care about even God. Why do we have to care about them and make so much attention? As if if we don't talk about them, we have a whole Bible here to preach. Open the word, preach the word, open the word, preach the word, preach the word, preach the word. Leave these uncircumcised people. Preach the word. The pulpit is not for political nonsense. Preach the word. Preach Jesus. Christ the King. Christ the healer. Preach Christ. We are lay hands on people. Lay hands on people. Anybody I come ask them, Opia wafaka mienumi ensabaha onote haye nyane wase mbiankae. And I keep telling you, I have a problem with all these prophecies about certain cloud of people. I have a problem with it. Adena mrewe gumi kroma wumumu fire hata adena monshem koma nufu numpump. Bernard, we are with you in prayer. We will correct you in love and restore you in love. You have erred. You have made a mistake because you are mortal. This tells you you are a man. You are limited like everybody. See ya. When Yamema will be who be. Not dum not toss to do that. To Mira Shrankamu. Sometimes we are getting into pride, arrogance. The Lord Himself can pull the brakes and you will fall flat. Yeah, God, He knows how to humble people. When you meet me up, God, He will humble you. God can strip you of everything. Because we are human beings, when we see influence, power, influential people, cars, acceptance, the heart corrupts. If you are not deeply rooted. So when the Bible said, there is a reason there. Solomon, the Bible said, and he forgot God. But therefore, when I'm mad, you do say.
Okay. So this was in summer a year Kofi Odru or the Tsuja. So he knows the man in question. This particular man I can say Bishop Elben no patches. So we shouldn't actually judge him or so patch or life goes on. So that is exactly what is really going on. But then in this same regard, the way forward is what everyone is looking at. The party did a top-down approach. We start with the leadership from the top before we come down. Usually it's the bottom-top approach is kind of acceptable. But in Sabra, you see, a Kamia the Bawumia team and also the leadership of the New Patriotic Party, they are moving full steam head on. What they are saying now is that this time around, they will take action against you. Oh yeah, why be with your party? And this was where clearly Bitmarcus is directed towards Ken and his cohort. Says, yeah, Ken, when you're 20%, you check MPP votes in Munina on your 1/4 forfeits. Onyobia. Nti Saki Ken Krane Kabra a champion crown and said we still have three quarter and a 3/3. I don't know how to put it, but we still have almost a third of the 4 portions. So say Ken at the back you want a moon miensa. and yeah, Dennis Murako Abuaje and it is same way etuja. I don't know the way forward and how the party is going to deal with Ken. We're setting all chances that they believe sir, which can hurt their preferred candidate, Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia. In a video of what Dennis Murako Abuaje in some of the tuja.
Let me be very blunt with you, and I must put this on record. And you would have noticed that the NPP is a political organization made up of membership and made up of rules. One of the things that the NPP rules abhors is anti-party tenets, anti-party activities, anti-party attitude. That is against the rule. When you are part of an organization, you are mandated to ensure that the organization is always highlighted in positive lights. Now, if you continue at all times to put the organization in very bad light, you forfeit your membership of the organization. And the MPP, as has been put out since yesterday, is going to be ruthless in the application of that rule. The Ghanaian people are looking up to us to provide very credible opposition to the government. And we don't have time to babysit. There is absolutely no time to babysit. Every party member between now and the next few days is mandated by the constitution of the party to come around the candidate and follow the rules of the candidate of the party.
Right.
If you refuse to do that and you continuously throw the party in bad light in public, you are going to forfeit your membership. And so you are aware that the party has already taken action towards some of the utterances that Professor Frimpong Boateng made. As for Tata Kennedy, he hasn't participated in any MPP activity in the past 12, 15 years. He only moves around with the name member of the party. But I'm sure there's a new order, there's a new leadership, and you can trust Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia to crack the whip where it's needed.
Interesting.
And pat people on the shoulder needed to make sure that we have a united, formidable party going into the future. But nobody is going to be allowed to continuously throw our party in very bad light. Deliberately, that will not be allowed.
Interesting.
And this same way definitely go to Agyapong and any team members using tribal politics, saying things at the end of the day, it is going to paint Bawumia in a very bad direction. Now, in this same vein, what we saw that day was a Ken Anaman for Oluswa Onjin Tumnia he actually came to the event ground, party headquarters, or no and a Bema concession speech. Now, Musa Dankwa Ababe Kasa said now the big fish no MPP for Akwa, but then what does it mean for the party in 2028? A whole ena Mahama John Dramani Mahama any saying Kitamudi EBPM. But before then, you could see some Agyapong edit to join you come back. We continue.
Presidential candidate Echi. Honorable Kennedy Akumpraku Agyapong. Kukrudu. The former President Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo, the flag bearer elect Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia, all the aspirants present, party chairman, general secretary, minority leader, chairman, the Council of Elders, and MPP party. I stand before you to pledge my support, also to accept the results declared by EC. The delegates have spoken, and I want to plead with my supporters that they should stay calm and respect the results and help all of us to work together to win 2029 or 2028 election. I want to advise my supporters. First, I want to thank you, but I advise that in election, you can win and you can lose. So if you lose, You have to accept it in good faith. So let's all of us throw our support to Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia, the flag bearer. And all I say is, MPP, we need unity in the party. But unity comes with respect. We have to respect each other's views. That is all I want to say tonight. So congratulations to Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia and MPP. Thank you.
So that was Kennedy Agyapong or man a concession speech out to me say wama say enye say we mu no say wa serious say ye wama and life goes on. What I say ebi eneno Bawumia thing. Who knows, tomorrow it can be his thing. God has a funny way of doing things at the end of the day. And you know, crying tears. Now the big question here is now Bawumia has won. What does it mean for the New Patriotic Party? Does it mean that they are going to win the next elections with Dr. Bawumia or what? And the person who rightfully predicted say Bawumia will win no Musa Dankwa wababe kasa. Musa Dankwa party say now on paper no it looks good for MPP, but then the Bawumia 2028 elections are now the front runners so for me na they are all if anything probable candidates for the NDC flag bearer race. Talking about Isedin Kitia, Haruna Idrisu, Atoforsen, Jenana, all of these people say Bawumia go up against all of them. What happened? And unfortunately, here, I hate to be the bearer of sad news, but then here is where Musa Dankwa breaks the sad news to all MPP for a party say, Mude wine eba. Still na 2028 a dando. You should be the way, bro.
Dr. Bawumia eventually picks up this note and is to face the NDC. How are the chances going to be looking at knowing very well that the issue of consistency that Jeffrey spoke about, we're bringing the same person again? Would it make a difference?
Look, the reality is that we've done a scenario involving top 4 NDC candidates against Bawumia. And he's losing against all of them.
Wow. Regardless of whoever the NDC brings.
Yes, in terms of the 4 leading candidates.
Yeah.
Haruna Idrisu, Atoforsen, Isedin Kitia, and Julius Debra.
Dr. Bawumia will lose against any of them.
That's the current polling data.
Would it change? We have 3 years to do this. Would it change in any way?
Oh yes, definitely things will move up and down. For some of the candidates, it might be very close. And for some, the gap will still be there. Currently, the poll shows that Haruna Idrisu and Atoforsen will get the biggest landslide possibly. But Isedin Kitia and Julius.
So that is in Sema Musa Dankwa edit to say, unfortunately, no, Bawumia going up against all of these people. No, what we will see here is that still he is going to lose the elections, and honestly, that is not a good sign at all. So the question is, 2028, you know, like MPP4 or heading. So this is exactly one of the issues that MPP4 do have to contend with, because still, honestly, as a Ghanaian party, I believe said the MPP4 the year Ghana for no, and yet 4 years as 7 and yet I will say maybe 16 years, because these people, they did a whole lot of things in the country. In fact, at a point in time, you even had to ask yourself, say, hey, into MPP penny, into Sebio, we need to really pay them back. No me who says Sebe, Ghana for we are not taking for granted again. So that is information air course. So say no, we can say on authority say Bawumia has won, but unfortunately in 2028, you know, if the economy doesn't change, if things doesn't move and what we'll be seeing here is that at the end of the day, elections no there the Bawumia beko, but then it's not going to make any difference. So that is a issue currently. Now, moving on to the camp of Bawumia again, the question here is, will Dr. Bawumia maintain Napo Matthew Opoku Prempeh as the running mate? Now, one of the things you have to note here is that all this time and now, elections, everyone was really impressed about how Brian Agyapong, who used just 4 months to do campaign, how he nearly tied Kennedy Agyapong, and even how he even made certain gains in various regions. Now, in all of these things, among for party say Brian Agyapong, a particular kind of person. He is best fit for the running mate position. A hope and menoka say Paul Adomoche or din Simbi Ababe to say Sisi and the or Nipana never call Kono Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia. Yatia say. But then right now we need a candidate. A candidate to be a running mate to be a rally behind the flag bearer. And to him, or believe it, say Napo is not the right person. Remember, say people have been saying this over the course the past 48 hours after results nearby. Want to me work as account, want to me Alcazaka, Maurice Ampawaka, and now Nipa or did no Ababeto San same way, Emubium, a Yankasa, Yenya Bema Paul Adomoche. Now, what exactly is Paul Adomoche saying? Yenkuti Sema Odituja. When we come back, we will continue with this particular update.
Or he has to look at the tide and say that, look, this Jenano Pokwajiman is not yet worn out of Ghanaian minds. So we may just have to fit it in and let's get a female vice president. So we don't have a campaign that says that we brought you a woman, they have brought you a man, they are taking the woman thing away. It's going to be a very tricky decision process for Dr. Bawumia to look at. And I thought about it this morning that, wow. So if he's going to look for female candidates, he's going to look for some Ashanti female candidates. The last time Fremont Parry was apparently interested. There's Patricia Piaget, whose guy knows very well. He's a member of parliament, deputy minority leader. There's still Cecilia Dapa, but I don't know what can be said about the whole process. Oh no, I'm not being mischievous. In fact, I was thinking about her way back, even before 2016. That maybe if the party is looking for a double account tickets in the days of Akufo-Addo, they just might consider Cecilia Dapa as one.
Without
with everything that has happened, that's what I'm saying. No, with everything that's happened, it's going to be difficult. But you never know. You can swing it in politics because they say she had done something wrong. They haven't been able to do anything about it. So she may come out looking better and say that I hadn't done anything wrong. My explanation was correct. These people did propaganda. We don't know. A day is a long time in politics, so it's going to be a very difficult conversation. I would wish that the MPP have a very sober reflection on where the running mate's position is going.
And they shouldn't rush it?
Oh, it's not even time. It's not due. I mean, they are far from that. In March, there's polling station elections. Then there's going to be constituency elections. Then there's going to be regional elections. And then the national executive.
But all these processes have no bearing on the choice of running mate. It's just their own party.
It doesn't, but you want the decision makers to be around the table when you make that decision. So you want the national executive to be properly constituted, you want the national council to be properly constituted, and then everybody's around. And then as a presidential candidate, you're looking for unity. This is a
Paul Adomoche also the sample for Ebetuja about this whole running mate issue. And among for CNSS Napo. Now, based on this, besides I said this whole win about Dr. Bawumia win, what does he make of it? Remember, I said he will also make a similar statement saying, if Bawumia has won, or if once Bawumia has won, he is repeating history in 1998, which means something can be done. Yes, I dare now. History is repeating the whole. You beat team MPP beat me winning a year 2028 elections. In Sema, Paul Adomoche editor.
Everything followed 1998, and the MPP has once again showed as a very conservative party. Not to advertise my book, but those who read my book will see that when we captured 1998, if you look at what happened today, it's exactly the same thing that happened. What is left for the MPP to be victorious in the next election 3 years' time is that they really have to follow the charts from 1998. What happened thereafter? What happened after the elections? What did Akufo do? What did Akufo do? If those things are followed, I believe that the MPP can come together. What's already happening, given the NDC contest that is coming up, it would appear that in spite of people thinking Dr. Bawumia may have been a bad candidate in 2024, a lot can change in a twinkle of an eye. The MPP have demonstrated confidence in him, and it makes the selling him to Ghana much easier. So a lot to happen, a lot of things to observe. But this is very interesting. But MPP have kept with the script.
Were you surprised by Dr. Agyapong's showing?
I wasn't at all.
Really?
I'm going to visit him in. I'm going to visit Brian in Agyapong, his hotel, and I have first-hand looked at what he was doing and how many delegates he was meeting. I've made the point before that Brian has held the density of this campaign. He's gone everywhere, and it showed. It showed that pressing flex, touching people, talking to them, resourcing them has a role and has a place. What is important is how Brian and Kennedy managed to join Bawumia's campaign for 2020. That's going to be very interesting. Already, people are talking about Bawumia should change running mate from Napo to Brian.
Do you agree?
I don't know how that's going to work, but well, Brian looks like he's very competent to become. He's from the Eastern region and he also has a background from the Ashanti region. He's young, he's agile, he understands security matters. He has demonstrated that he can also do grassroots politics. So well, it's all up in the air.
All right, thank you so much.
Okay, so that was Paul Adomoch in some of the two. Now, this same Paul Adomoch is telling us history actually repeated itself. Because way back in 1998, in BBACA, the ACN say 1998 election, any 2026 MP4 flag bearership elections, there's a whole lot of similarities. Because also then time John Agyapong for every year or Bejina or Kunenim Emma, the New Patriotic Party. Nipo Lucy that time was Akufo-Addo, but Akufo-Addo actually later rallied behind J. Akufo. So if at the end of the day we are going by this same playbook, then it means that if they're able to get the camp, Agyapong and his camp and Brian Agyapong and his camp to join Bawumia, what this means is that at the end of the day they can have a good shot at the 2028 general elections. In Sema, Paul Adomoch or the two.
One which has been replicated today is 1998. 1998 is exactly what has happened today. And what happens from today, if it can replicate what happened in 1998, then the MPP has a good chance. And I hope that the MPP will pick from that leaf. And I'm going to tell you what happened. So Akufo-Addo came up as a young man known in the party, agile, radical, and was ready to overthrow the Conservatives. And the concern was that Kufuor is dull, he will not be able to win the election. And again, the NDC became very wary of Akufo-Addo's campaign. They were very worried about it. And rumors are that the NDC supported the Kufuor campaign because they were quite afraid of Akufo-Addo at the election where Rawlings is not running and they have to choose a new candidate and Akufo-Addo is coming in. They seemed quite worried and they preferred a Kufuor candidature, same as today. And so Kufuor won. And the NDC's immediate reaction when Kufuor won was that they are going to win the 2000 elections. I mean, agents of Mrs. Rawlings started writing about, the MPP has given it to them. They've elected Kufuor. It's been, 1 hour, and you can see the NDC sentiments already. They are excited that Bawumia has won. They know how to beat him. They will beat him again. This was the same in 1998. But then what happened thereafter? So when the MPP left the Congress in 1998, the sentiments were the same as today. Those who thought that they wanted a firebrand to change things, and they felt a bit disappointed. But sometime after the thing, 6 months down the line, I was in Akufo-Addo's office in Adabraka as a lawyer, where he addressed Kwabena Agyapong and his supporters and said that, look, if we don't go and support Kufuor, we can't win this election. If the NDC wins the election, they would have won 3 elections. So whatever it is, let's get down there and support Kufuor and make sure we win this election. Then he was a loser. He put his people together. And then the campaign began to take shape. And then suddenly the Kufuor campaign of 2000, with Kufuor, they call him the gentle giant, who was a conservative. His campaign was completely radicalized because the radicals took over the campaign. And it's completely radicalized. So if you watch the 2000 campaign, which I capture in the book, the MPP campaign was the more radical one because it was led by Akufo-Addo and his team, Victor Newman, Stanley Adjui Blankson, Nyahuta Maklo. These were the radicals. And they lost the election to Kufuor, but they decided that, look, we need to support Kufuor to win this election. So the story is told that eventually Kufuor won. Now, let me hold that story and come back. So if the MPP going out from today would have to come together and win, they will have to follow that leaf. The most important people are going to be Kennedy Agyapong and Brian Agyapong. How the two of them convince their teams to come together, but also how the Bawumia victors manage the reconciliation. And I think what must happen is that they have to drill down to the numbers and decide that Charles Folson supported Kennedy Agyapong and he's disappointed. He's a member of parliament. Who knows Charles Folson? Richard Sky knows Charles Forson. Okay, Richard Sky, can you start working on Charles Forson? This must come from the Bawumia victors. Can you start working on Charles Forson? Who knows Sticker? Paul Adomochi knows Sticker. Paul, can you talk to Sticker? At the top level, Muhammadu Bawumia is talking to Kennedy Agyapong. Muhammadu Bawumia is talking to Brian Agyapong. Nana Akufo-Addo and all of them are there. They can put that together. But then they must identify specific people, specific actors, part of the radical group, and have people reach out to them one-on-one. It's not going to be the same election of 2024, 2028. The NDC is the focus right now. The NDC is the party in office.
Okay, so same way, and I Paul Adomoche or the Tuja. So it's here for it. Now we thank you guys for joining us on this particular app. So thank you so much.